Greg's relationship with Joan is in jeopardy after 90-day fiancé dowry drama. 0-Day Fiancé star Greg Chillick hails from Islip Terrace, New York, and he's riding for a fall, unwilling to see the truth, which is the fact that his partner, Joan Khrushchev, is out for money rather than love his mother. Lucille Chillick doesn't like what she sees. In fact, dowry arguments may harm the relationship. Ugandan Joan has shown so many red flags so far, criticizing Lucille, who's quite a nice woman, for spending too much time in her own home. That was a serious breach of manners. It clearly hurt Lucille, and made Greg uncomfortable. It was weird when Greg confronted Joan about the way she treated Lucille. Joan said she was testing his mother to see how far she could push things before the other woman reacted. That's kind of a sick game, and maybe it's not even true. Lucille's not perfect, but she deserves better. Joan is very abrasive. The rudeness was so extreme that it seemed like a deal-breaker, at least for Joan and Lucille's relationship. That's too bad as, unlike some 90-day fiancé monsters-in-law, including Debbie Johnson, Lucille made an effort with Joan. Lucille complimented her on her work ethic in the home. She didn't just paint her as a gold digger, which, sadly, she might actually be. It's too soon to call, but Joan can be so harsh with her partner. She called Greg lazy, and Lucille, it just doesn't feel like she loves Greg, and she resents his mother. It seems like Lucille is the one paying for most things. In the season, he's been looking for work but hasn't found a job yet, although he had an interview. Things aren't quite right for this 90DF duo. Will someone get hurt? The dowry is a tricky issue. It's tradition in her native country. Paying a dowry is a way that a man proves to his fiancé's family that he has enough money to support her. That information was shared by Joan during a recent episode. She says that Greg must pay the dowry. He can't get out it and still marry her. Lucille, raised with a different set of traditions, obviously thinks that the dowry requirement is out of line, perhaps because Greg's already paying Joan's way. He's trying to earn money because he knows this relationship is going to cost money. Lucille will probably need to pay for everything he can't cover himself, including the dowry. While she opens her home to this woman, who is almost a stranger, and spends time with her, Lucille feels disrespected. She was wounded by someone she liked, and now, she must reassess that relationship. Lucille's showing her feelings more, criticizing the woman who drew first blood by putting her down. The situation is becoming toxic. If Joan had kept her feelings to herself, it would have been better for everyone. Now, the future mother-in-law must plan, and probably pay for, a wedding between her beloved son and a woman who doesn't like her. This is cruel punishment for the woman who welcomed Joan and even praised her on camera. For now, everyone is stuck together, and the dynamic that's been created is something everyone has to live with, but it's not the end of the world. It's just another complication. The problem with these complications is that they can snowball. They can morph into real problems that lead to splits. People who don't think before they speak often regret it later. Maybe Joan does. However, she seems a bit narcissistic, unwilling to recognize her shortcomings while pointing out everyone else's. Some might compare Debbie, Colt Johnson's mother, to Lucille, but really, if both women were treated more respectfully by their sons' partners, everything might have been different. Ultimately, like Colt and Larissa Lima's romance, Joan's relationship with Greg seemed destined to end. It's not just mother-in-law issues. Yes, the younger women being nicer might help, but there's the same nasty undercurrent in both romances. Women who seem too mercenary, too cold, and too condescending. When one person asks the other to change right off the bat, it's just such a bad sign. It's only when two people appreciate one another that love can last. There needs to be a foundation of adoration. There are pregnancy rumors about Joan. Is she expecting Greg's baby in summer July? There are pregnancy rumors about the duo, as per the 90-Day Fiancé breaking news. With Joan, everything is so matter of fact. In her eyes, Greg needs to do this, and he needs to do that. To get love, he has to follow her rules. She thinks he's lazy, and he needs to give her money, and so on and so on. It is not a romantic relationship, it's more like a business transaction, and this is why the dowry issue is so important. He's put his faith in a woman from another country, hoping that their union won't become another tired 90DF cliché. However, others have taken the same leaps of faith and ended up crushed and humiliated. So, Greg may need to deal with heartbreak soon enough. Maybe she will surprise everyone, but it seems obvious that she's not a soft, sweet woman who's devoted to Greg. She is someone with an agenda, and the sooner he figures this out, the better. Then, the 90-Day Fiancé can protect himself. Are Greg and Joan from 90-Day Fiancé still together? TLC's 90-Day Fiancé has always taken the audience on emotional roller coasters as international couples navigate their relationship, cultural differences, and the ticking clock of the K-1 visa. Season 11 features 6 such couples and a throuple, but Gregory Chiluk, aka Greg, and Joan Khrushchev stood out due to their unique journey. Their love story began thousands of miles away in Uganda when the Long Island native met the fiercely independent Joan during a vacation. What started as a fun connection soon became a life-altering romance as they decided to take the next step in their relationship. However, problems arose when Joan arrived in Greg's home country, and the reality clashed with what she had hoped for. Gregory and Joan initially faced differences in achieving stability. Gregory Chiluk, aka Greg, first met Joan Khrushchev within just an hour and a half of landing in Uganda. Despite not talking much during their initial encounter, there was something about her that lingered in his mind. Unbeknownst to him, Joan shared the same feelings. A year and a half later, Greg suddenly received a friend request from her on social media. That's where they really connected, and before long, he was on his second trip to Uganda with a ring in his pocket. He proposed to Joan on her birthday, and to his absolute delight, she said yes. With dreams of starting a new life together, Joan made the difficult decision to move to Greg's home country. However, when she arrived, she was stunned to discover that he still lived with his mother, Lucille, and was completely dependent on her. Joan had always imagined building a stable and independent life with him, but he had seemingly passed up on several job opportunities. As time progressed, their living situation continued to grow tense. Although Greg's mother meant well, Joan often found herself clashing with her. At one point, Joan gave Greg an ultimatum to begin arranging funds to buy a house within 6 months. However, he grew nervous because he knew that the period was too short to do so. Despite the early hurdles, the duo continued moving forward in their connection with trust and determination. As they adjusted to the realities of their new life, Joan pushed Greg to become more self-reliant and begin taking control of their future. Gregory and Joan are basking in the joy of being newlyweds despite their occasional differences and growing tension. Greg and Joan's bond did not end in heartbreak but rather in something more beautiful. After months of emotional turbulence and learning to understand each other, they decided to proceed with their marriage. For a while, some of the fans speculated online that the couple might have quietly parted ways. However, the couple quickly silenced the rumors in the most romantic way possible by sharing their stunning wedding photos with the world. Greg could not contain his joy as he expressed, "I wake up every day and can't believe she's here in the US. It's truly breathtaking. We are living our own fairy tale every day." Joan shared her own feelings, stating, "We are married and building our life together. It once felt like a dream, but now it's our beautiful reality." Their special day was filled with romantic moments, like heartfelt vows and slow dances that reflected how far they have come today. In a recent post on Instagram, in June, they shared a loving family photo featuring Joan, Greg, and Lucille. There was a warm smile on everyone's faces, which radiated a sense of peace and belonging that once seemed far from reach. Whether it's candid pictures from their everyday life or their joyful outing with fellow cast members in July, the duo is visibly sailing through their marriage as a unit. Together, they have turned a leap of faith into a lifelong journey full of love, growth, and new beginnings. Gregory and Joan are passionately pursuing their creative dreams. After graduating from East Islip High School, Greg has tried a handful of jobs, like a tire technician at Terry Brothers Tires and, most recently, as a freelance plumber. However, despite everything, he has never stopped baking, which is not just a hobby for him but a passion. He had expressed to Joan his dreams of building a future around it someday. In January, the reality star finally turned that dream into a reality. With determination and a dash of creativity, he launched his bakery venture, Dobro Bakery. Since then, Greg has successfully delighted many customers with his baking skills, especially around Easter. On the business namesake Instagram account, he proudly shares glowing reviews from his customers. Greg's official website for the bakery showcases a line of merchandise that reflects his brand and personality. It showcases items ranging from a Dobro logo mug to Arctic fleece blankets. Even more excitingly, he teased the arrival of fresh sourdough bread and cookies, which would soon be available for purchase. Coming to Joan, long before moving across the world, she had been working as a respected director at the Nakaho Hope for Girls Foundation in Uganda. It is a non-profit organization dedicated to uplifting and empowering young girls. Although moving across the world was a huge decision for her, her spirit of working for others did not end there. Aside from continuing to work in that position, albeit from far away, she now also assists Greg in promoting his baking venture. Joan has also started a GoFundMe fundraiser to support the foundation back in Uganda. Moreover, Joan is currently pursuing an entrepreneurial path as a crochet designer. She maintains a professional Instagram account for the same, named Joan Crockett's, where she showcases her crocheted items like bikinis, swimsuits, tops, and many more. It also serves as a platform for her to reach customers with her products. As of writing, the couple has built a dedicated fan base. While Gregory now has over followers, Joan boasts more than followers on Instagram. On the platform, they regularly share glimpses of their personal life. They also promote their Cameo accounts, through which they can connect with their fans via personalized messages. In their personal life, the reality stars have remained each other's biggest cheerleaders. Their love now thrives in quiet moments, lazy afternoons spent cuddling in bed, stolen kisses on their birthdays, and even spontaneous weekend trips. Whether working side by side or supporting each other's passions, Greg and Joan continue to grow together. Are Motti and Stevie from 90 Day Fiancé still together? Cultural differences and ultimatums have always been common on TLC's 90 Day Fiancé. It brings together international couples navigating the tricky path of love and the pressure of the 90-day countdown of the K1 visa. Among the recent season 11 couples to capture the attention of the fans is Motti Dowry and Stevie Nicole. The latter is a free-spirited artist from Mississippi who first met the former, a conservative man from Iran, while teaching him English online. As their connection grew, they met for the first time in Turkey. Within just a week of meeting face-to-face, Motti proposed to her and they became engaged. However, once he moved across the world for his love, their romance hit stormy waters, raising questions about whether they had made the right decision. Motti and Stevie's conflicts often stemmed from their lifestyle differences. Motti Dowry and Stevie Nicole's love story began in the most unexpected way. The latter was teaching English to international students online when one particular individual caught her attention. This was none other than Motti. However, reality hit quite hard after their relationship had progressed to such an extent that he decided to visit Stevie's home country. He was far from home, so every part of the culture was unfamiliar. Furthermore, having been raised in a deeply conservative environment, Motti struggled to adapt to the ways of Mississippi. He continuously felt homesick, and his relationship further unraveled when Stevie's nude paintings came forward. All around her house, he found nude female forms elegantly captured in her artwork. It was shocking for Motti because he was not used to such openness. When Motti discovered that Stevie had painted one of her female friends, it raised questions in his mind about whether she was bisexual. He began pressing her for answers, with his curiosity soon giving way to suspicion. This subject eventually became a sore point, casting a shadow over their relationship. Another issue arose when Stevie's father, Perry, an undeniably patriotic man, refused to give Motti his blessing. Perry wanted to have a chance to spend quality time with the man his daughter loved before allowing things to move forward, especially considering the political tension between their two homelands. Even Motti's friend, Saeed, raised eyebrows during their wedding about Stevie's alleged bisexuality. Motti and Stevie have remained strong by continuing to spend quality time together. Against all odds, Motti and Stevie still chose each other and decided to walk down the aisle. Unlike the other couples in the show, who used every moment of their visa allowance to decide whether to marry, they took a different route. They fast-tracked the wedding since Stevie prioritized his green card so he could legally work and build a life beside the woman he loved. The former had also expressed how the conversation about her sexuality was a topic for the duo behind closed doors. What matters most is that they have chosen to accept each other fully. When the wedding day arrived, it was intimate as Motti surprised her by wearing a half-sin, a traditional Persian symbol representing passion and prosperity. It was his way of honoring his roots while stepping into a new chapter with her. After exchanging their vows, Motti made a promise, stating, "We will never, ever give up on this journey." In June, he proudly posted their wedding photos on Instagram, along with a call for support. In part, he wrote, "Please keep the people of my country, Iran, in your prayers." Stevie showed her support in the comment section, partly expressing, "In my chaos, you've been my peace. I hope I can be the same for you now, even though it's much heavier. I love you, and I choose you every day over and over." Today, their social media serves as a window into their life. From goofy moments in photo booths to their tender mirror selfies, the duo appears inseparable. They celebrated, with Stevie's family, watching fireworks, and soaking in the warmth of their blended lives, proving that their love endured beyond the screen. Motti and Stevie are thriving in their respective careers in fitness and art. After their marriage, Motti and Stevie settled into the quiet rhythms of their life in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. After arriving in the U.S., the former has carved out his own path in the fitness world. Today, he proudly wears the titles of a certified personal trainer and a certified nutrition coach. As for Motti, she has revealed how his professional journey began with a traditional 9-to-5 job at a commercial gym. With experience under his belt, he has now continued his work by offering online coaching and transformation. He has also garnered a large fan base with followers on Instagram. They not only cheer him on but also actively engage with his health-focused mission. Furthermore, Motti's social media reflects his humorous and lighthearted side. On the other hand, Stevie has held on to her creative spirit and continued thriving in her dual world. By day, she remains committed to her profession as an English teacher. However, she has not let this affect her artistic side. The reality star actually has a namesake website, which serves as an online gallery for all her artwork. It is a vibrant space filled with abstract pieces, expressive nude forms, and glimpses of her soul rendered in bold strokes. After all, the website not just showcases her original artwork but also features her collections and signed prints. She has since even utilized his platform to attract more people to this charity, resulting in him embracing art and atmospheres as a portal for art lovers who can easily inquire about other painting styles and purchase her creations directly. In June, Stevie proudly announced a pre-sale of her custom-designed shirts, blending fashion with her signature artistic flair. The shirts are readily available for purchase on Stevie's website. She also has an Instagram page, Art by Stevie, which is a window into her creative universe. Although she often prefers keeping her private life away from the limelight, we do know that she is a proud mother of 2 children. She never misses a chance to shower them with her love and devotes a big part of her life to them. Aside from this, her furry kitten, Juju, also holds a special place in her heart. In July, Stevie and Motti took a trip to New York City, capturing snapshots of their shared joy as they cruised through art galleries and soaked in the buzz of the city that never sleeps. Together, the couple is creating more than just a home but building a life shaped by love, humor, and resilience. 90 Day Fiancé's Greg Chilek reveals unexpected new job amid rumors Joan is pregnant. 90 Day Fiancé star Greg Chilek is revealing what his surprising new job is after rumors of his wife Joan being pregnant. Greg from Long Island is a 35-year-old man who married Joan from Uganda in 90 Day Fiancé Season 11. Joan came to the U.S. on a K-1 visa but had difficulties adjusting to her new life, with her having to live with Greg's mother, Lucille. In her house, Lucille covered most household expenses, and Greg had declined job offers, creating strain with Joan over their financial future, but it looks like he's finally found a job he likes. "I have to admit my job is pretty amazing," Greg wrote in his new Instagram post while revealing what he does for work now. Greg posed in a Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter while also standing proudly next to military personnel for some pictures. "I'm getting to hang out with these guys and their insane equipment," he added. "It's a great reward for the hard work." Greg also thanked his friend Jonathan W. for the opportunity in the caption. One of Greg's followers asked him where he works. Greg replied, "I work for New York State." Another fan, Aj Sweetsoap, commented, "Is this Republic Airport in Farmingdale?" However, Greg chose not to reveal the location of his job.